What's up guys, Sax here. Today I have something special for you. As I was farming Pinnacle Ops in preparation for the Day 1 contest mode raid, I found myself with a spicy new strand weapon and figured I'd give it a shot. What happened next was something magical, something you only read about. It was love at first shot. The weapon I'm referencing is the new special ammo rocket assisted pulse rifle, Mint Retrograde. Now I plan to do a full breakdown of the top weapons from the Edge of Fate in the future, so be sure to like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss that. But in a moment, we're going to touch briefly on the role options for this weapon, and I'll drop my suggestions for the various scenarios you could use it in. Now, as if it was a match made in heaven, I'm going to pair this weapon with the Hazardous Propulsion Titan exotic chest piece. Hazardous Propulsion has the exotic perk Danger Close, which allows you to load up to 6 kinetic rockets when you get precision hits or final blows with your weapons. These rockets will fire when you cast your class ability. And yes, this works with the thruster ability as well. However, the real benefit is hidden in the back half of the description, where it states that damaging targets with Exodus rockets will temporarily increase the damage you deal with all other rockets. So to get ahead of you and answer your question, yes, this works with the Pulse Rifle's rockets too. In the past, we would build this bonus damage into normal rockets during DPS loadouts, but as we continue to gain more viable rocket-based DPS weapons, it's important to keep this synergy in mind. So today, I'm going to break down the build specifics piece by piece, starting with the armor, then we'll move into weapons, and finally we'll finish with the artifact and the gameplay loot. Timestamps for each section in the dim link will be below if you want to skip around the video or just try the build out for yourself. So here we go. Let's start with breaking down the armor selection for this build. As mentioned before, we're going to utilize Hazardous Propulsion as our primary armor piece and build out a kit to support that. When looking at the 6 available armor archetypes, it's clear that we should focus on the Specialist archetype, as it will give you armor with the primary stat in class and a secondary stat in weapons. Make sure to change out your armor mod on your Ghost Shell to give a higher drop chance of armor in this archetype. Next, even though we are in the earliest days of armor set bonuses, there is an easily accessible set in the game that can be utilized to gain additional damage resistance and a variety of movement enhancements. The AION Renewal set from the Kepler destination has the following armor set bonus. For wearing 2 pieces of the AION Renewal armor, you'll receive the Force Converter benefit, which states after a final blow with any rocket or grenade launcher, sprint for a short time to gain speed booster. As a reminder, speed booster will maximize your movement speed, grant 50% additional slide distance, 25% increased jump height, and most importantly 15% damage resistance against combatants. For wearing 4 pieces of the AION Renewal armor, you'll receive the Reactive Booster benefit, which states once per activation of Force Converter, sprinting while at critical health, being suspended, or being slowed by a stasis effect will immediately grant speed booster for a short time. For armor stats, you'll want to get your class ability and weapons as high as possible so you can utilize as many Exodus rocket propulsions as possible during a DPS window. Make sure to lean into the reworked font mods if you want to gain more class or weapon stats when you pick up an Orb of Power. Font mods, as a reminder, will stack up to 3 times, and you can gain 20, 40, or 50 stat points for 1, 2, and 3 font mods respectively. You can think of these as weapon surge mods, but for gaining armor stat points on orb pickup. Next, let's talk about the weapon choices for this build. As mentioned above, we're leaning into the new hotness, Mint Retrograde. There are 2 ways we can play into this build. However, I think that using this as an all-around build, specifically for like solo survivability, is going to be strong in in-game and higher world tiers as we move forward. I would like to try many different iterations of this weapon. However, at first glance, I'm going to be searching for a beacon rounds plus chain reaction roll for ad clear, and for DPS, I'm going to lean into the Envious Arsenal plus bait and switch synergy, which can pair well with a Hezen Vengeance, Cold Comfort, or Tomorrow's Answer rocket launcher with the same roll. Now, I want to discuss some exotic energy options that we can pair with this build. However, if you're stumbling across this and are thinking about using either 3rd iteration or Choir of One in the Day 1 raid, Bungie has announced that these will be disabled for the contest mode experience. I'm not going to spend too much time discussing these weapons as 3rd iteration has a ton of coverage right now, and I have screamed from the rooftops how good Choir of One is. Since we know that we need to hit rapid precision hits or final blows to generate Exodus rockets, I think there are 2 great solar pairings that we can use for this build. Devil's Ruin for up close and personal encounters, and Polaris Lance for GM Nightfalls where you want to keep a bit more distance. In the heavy slot, It really depends on the situation in which we find ourselves using this build. If you're in a boss DPS situation, I would pair this with an energy-aligned rocket launcher or linear fusion rifle, depending on the encounter and boss type. However, I think this build will really shine if you're in an ad clear situation and you pair it with Pro Memoria Strand Machine Gun from the Pale Heart. If you craft this weapon with a Strategist perk, you'll receive roughly 11% energy back per kill if the perk is enhanced, which makes this a fast, loose, and, in my opinion, the most fun way to play this build. Possibly my favorite thing about this build is that you can play it on any subclass energy or prismatic, and it will remain strong as long as you have a high class energy and weapon stat. I will quickly go through exactly what I've chosen and what will be in my dim link, but remember, flex this however you see fit. So for super, I've gone with Thunder Crash. For aspects, I've gone with Knockout and Dranger's Lash to feed deeper into the strand synergies and to continually have healing at hand when I get a melee kill. For abilities, I've chosen Thruster, Frenzy Blade, and Shackle Grenade. And for fragments, I've gone with Facet of Hope, Facet of Solitude, Facet of Purpose, Facet of Protection, and finally, Facet of Defiance. To wrap up this video, let's talk about artifact mods that I think will take this build above and beyond many others that have come before. To start, choose Anti-Barrier Scout and Pulse, and then your choice of 2 other anti-champion mods. In the second column, select Tightly Woven, which will grant you increased class ability and grenade energy when you have Woven Mail, and Rapid Precision Rifling, which will proc by meeting the exact same requirements as the Hazardous Propulsion exotic perk. In the third column, choose Elemental Benevolence for extra class ability energy and refresh threads to gain ability energy when picking up an elemental pickup that matches your super. In the fourth column, choose Threaded Blast to increase the radius of your Tangle explosions, Cauterize Darkness to do extra solar damage to darkness debuffed enemies, and Elemental Coalescence for a chance to create elemental pickups that match your super. Finally, in the fifth column, select Elemental Overdrive to gain weapon damage that matches whatever energy the pickup is, and Tangled Web to create more suspending blasts on the battlefield. Sometimes in this game, you'll see a build and it takes a bit of convincing to get you to give it a try for yourself. Please listen to me when I say, if you are a Titan and you get your hands on this pulse rifle, please give this a try. If you've made it this far into the video, thank you very much for your viewership. It means the world to me. Please use the comment section below or join our ever-growing community in the Subcalss Plays Games Discord server and discuss what you do and don't like about this build and what you'll change to customize it for yourself. My name is Subcalss, and until next time, be blessed, y'all.